Hello, I'm Frank Lyons, and this is my video on Toad in a Hole. It's a kind of a pub dish. It's very hearty. It involves kind of a bread pudding, and that encases pork sausage. And here you can see me making that bread pudding with some eggs, some flour, and a variety of other spices, including balsamic vinegar, Worcester Worcestershire sauce, and other things such as cayenne powder, salt, pepper, the traditional seasonings. Additionally, all-purpose flour and some eggs I got from my neighbors. I actually got most of these ingredients we already had at home, but what we didn't have, I did do some shopping for, excluding the eggs, of course, which I got from my neighbors. Let's see. It wasn't really hard to get the ingredients there. I found them all at the nearest Publix, and they were all very readily available. The instructions were pretty easy. Here you can see me mixing the batter. Well, I'm not quite mixing it yet, but I am throwing in ingredients here. I I chose this dish because it seemed like a good dish to serve to my family, and I wanted to be able to cook dinner for them because I don't know if they believed that I was ready to go out and be on my own in college and cook yet. But I think this proved it to them. You can see me adding some more spices to the batter until we're just about ready to stir. That whole milk as well. It gives it some liquidity in the water as well. I believe there's a quarter of a cup of water in here. I chose the dish so I could have fed my family. I did actually end up eating this with my family. I enjoyed it greatly, and I would probably make it again if I had the choice. I would definitely order it if given the opportunity. Here we can see after we've mixed the batter, we've gotten the pork sausage, we've soaked the pan in vegetable oil, and we're starting to put these sausages on the pan, and we're going to fry them until they're brown. I would definitely order these in a pub. As I said, they're definitely a pub food. They're very hearty. It's a very hearty dish. I served it with beans as well, which is, I think, a cherry on top. I enjoyed sharing with my family. It wasn't very hard. The steps were easy to follow, and I mean, historically, it's actually a very interesting dish. It was developed. It was created, I believe, in the 1800s or thereabouts, as a way to make meat stretch across. It's a peasant meal, and it's stayed a food of the people of London and Britain. For its run as a dish, and it started as a way for peasants to make meat last across the week. For instance, you only have so many sausages, and you've got to feed your whole family. Toad in a hole is a great way to do that. So there's that. It's called actually Toad in a hole because, oh, actually, here we have the sausages. They've now been fried and are ready to be turned and loaded into that skillet. But it's called Toad in a Hole because the sausage will, surprisingly, actually, I did not believe it until I saw it. The sausage will actually, when fried in the batter, float to the top, or at least be pushed to the top by the expanding batter. And it will look as if a toad is sticking out of its hole in the ground. And it's it's honestly shockingly accurate. Here you can see me taking the vegetable oil from the pan and buttering the skillet as we load those fried sausages in. Next up, we're going to go for the onion gravy that goes on top of the whole thing. Here I am dicing and mincing the onion for that gravy. And the gravy really ties the whole thing together. It's really fantastic, I got to say. Where was I? It was a peasant dish. It's called Toad in the Hole because it derives its name from the appearance of the sausage sticking out from the bread pudding. And it's remained a pub dish since about the 1800s. And it's widely loved. It's a cultural, I wouldn't say it's a staple, but it's definitely well known, and it's a pub dish. It's a home dish. It's cooked in the home a lot. A lot of the people who I had seen wrote about it reminisce about their mother making them this dish. And I imagine their mother might have also stood above the skillet, pushing the onions around and frying them until they're brown, as I am doing here. Yes, and that's I would say it is an easy dish to make, but there is a bit of involvement with time. It took me about 2 hours to make this, just because there's a lot of there's a couple of components to the dish, and I would say standing for 2 hours straight is not easy. I don't know how my mother does it. It's incredible, really. It makes you appreciate your mother, and well, it makes me appreciate my mother. I hope it makes you appreciate your mother. I mean, they always do so much for us, but we're getting away from the point. These onions are going to get fried until they're brown, and then while those mushrooms are, or not mushrooms, God, onions are frying, we're going to stick our sausages in this batter that we've made, and we're going to line them up real nice, and then we're going to throw them in the oven for 30 minutes at 500 degrees Fahrenheit, which is what the instructions told me to do, which was frankly a little shocking. I thought maybe that we would be operating at a lower temperature. Back to the onions here, we're going to soak them in a vegetable broth until they thicken and reduce, and that's going to really leave us with a very lovely product of something that just, I mean, I would venture to say that the dish would be incomplete without the onion gravy. It really ties the whole thing together. I will say, one thing that surprised me is the butter pudding, or the bread pudding that surrounds the sausage, has a very sweet flavor, and we can now see this bread pudding out of the oven being covered in that delicious gravy that is now thickened and reduced. As you can see, it's almost like a syrup here covering the skillet, or the baking dish, or the dish that we have it in, really. And as you can see, the bread is risen and pushed those sausages to the top there, and it's a frightening resemblance to its namesake, honestly. But that, don't be fooled by that brown top layer. The inside of that bread pudding looks much more like that sweet yellow color you can see sticking out, and it's quite sweet, which did shock me a bit. Anyway, thank you for listening to my video. I will be listing my sources in just a moment. I got my recipe from allrecipes.com, and I've received my historical source information from tastinghistory.com and foodrepublic.com, as well as culturetrip.com. Thank you.